Valerie Zavala Wilson. Valerie Zavala Wilson, a name whispered before the sirens ever arrived, a woman seen every morning smiling in plain daylight, trusted, predictable, safe, until the night she vanished without a scream. Detective Aaron Miles enters the frame already uneasy, because the door wasn't forced, the lights were still on, dinner cooling on the stove, the kind of quiet that feels staged. Valerie's phone sits face down, unlocked, as if placed carefully, neighbors say nothing unusual. Friends insist she feared no one, yet something invisible has already crossed the line, a presence hiding in routine, hiding in familiarity. Every clue feels intentional, every absence louder than noise, the timeline refuses to behave, and the people closest to her begin circling the truth without realizing it, because sometimes the most terrifying threat never runs, never hides, and never leaves. Detective Aaron Miles retraces Valerie's final day minute by minute, coffee at dawn. Work calls answered calmly, no distress, no warning, security cameras blink but miss everything that matters, angles blocked, footage erased by coincidence or design. Valerie's messages stop mid-sentence, a thought unfinished, a fear unspoken, the house yields no weapon, no struggle, only fingerprints that belong exactly where they should, too perfect. Miles feels watched by the evidence itself, as if the scene is guiding him away from something obvious. Valerie's calendar reveals a meeting she never mentioned, a name written softly in pencil, then erased. Co-workers remember arguments that sounded like jokes, laughter covering tension, trust disguising control. The case tightens, pressure builds, because every answer points inward, towards someone who never needed to break in, someone already inside. Valerie Zavala Wilson wasn't alone in her fear. Though no one knew it yet, her private journal surfaces days later, hidden behind ordinary pages, lines scratched out, rewritten, masked as daily thoughts, phrases about being watched, about doubt creeping into love, about danger wearing a familiar face. Detective Miles notices the shift, early entries hopeful, later ones fragmented, urgent, unfinished, friends now remember sudden distance, cancelled plans, a smile that arrived late. The kind of change people ignore because it's inconvenient. Phone records reveal long late-night calls, always the same number, never aggressive, never threatening, just present, always present. The investigation turns intimate, uncomfortable, because the killer doesn't feel like a stranger anymore. The killer feels like someone everyone trusted, someone who helped search, someone who cried at the right moments. Someone standing very close to the truth. Detective Aaron Miles finally focuses on the one constant. The person whose timeline fits too cleanly, whose alibi depends on routine, whose grief arrives on schedule. Interviews become sharper, silence is longer, answers rehearsed, a single contradiction slips out unnoticed by everyone else, but not Miles. Surveillance from weeks earlier resurfaces. Valerie arguing softly in a parking lot, hands shaking, fear restrained, the other figure calm, composed. Familiar, motive begins to breathe, jealousy, control, the terror of being exposed, evidence stacks quietly, bank activity, deleted messages recovered, a confession nearly spoken then swallowed. Miles feels the walls closing in, because the truth isn't dramatic, it's subtle, domestic, ordinary, and that makes it worse. The realization lands heavy. The killer never chased Valerie, never needed to. She walked toward them willingly, believing she was safe. Valerie Zavala Wilson's final hours replay differently now. Trust becomes the weapon, silence the cover. The house wasn't a crime scene, it was a stage, every object placed to preserve normalcy, to delay suspicion. When the arrest comes it feels surreal, neighbors stunned, family divided, the accused maintains innocence. Calm eyes, steady voice, claiming love, claiming accident, claiming misunderstanding. The trial fractures the community, experts debate psychology, control masked as care. Possession disguised as protection. Valerie's journal becomes her voice, every line echoing warning too late heard. The verdict arrives but closure doesn't, because questions remain, because something still doesn't fit. Detective Miles lies awake sensing a loose thread, a detail buried too deep, something the killer never accounted for, something still waiting to surface. Detective Aaron Miles finds it months later, a final digital backup, a video Valerie recorded secretly. Her voice calm but terrified, naming the person she trusted most, explaining the plan if anything happened, then smiling sadly, saying they would never suspect them, because evil doesn't always announce itself. The twist isn't who killed Valerie, it's when, she knew long before, and stayed silent to protect others. The killer in plain sight wasn't hiding from the world, they were hiding behind Valerie's love. And the most disturbing truth lingers, She saw the danger clearly.